Hello, everyone. This is Dwayne Golden, and tonight I'm excited to share with you a very special message. And as I'm waiting for my partners to come in, I want to just make a couple things clear for you guys. I trust each because we have these webinars. I don't sound curt or non-caring. So if that comes off that way, I don't mean it. What I will tell you is that we are working at something here to begin a change and a movement for internet marketing. Internet marketing is more than just selling someone something and moving on to the next person. In an effort to share our principles with you guys and even be transparent and tell you how we're doing things, I would love it if you guys could not use our webinars as a platform to show everyone what you know or to be insulting. So that's some of the things that pushes me to sound curt, but I'm not at all. I just don't want to cheat everyone else that's here for something. So just want to make that clear. You guys are very important to us, certainly. But you got to remember this. No matter what you get in this world, if it's made by mankind, it's not perfect. We all have to move towards that direction. Yeah. In mathematics, we call that an asymptote. You never arrive, but you're always getting closer. And with that in mind, if you guys could bear with this, we're going to be able to differentiate for you a different type of internet marketing. The kind of internet marketing that can make 7 figures and yet still care about the person. The kind of internet marketing that can make 8 figures and still care about the individuals involved. Yeah. And yet, at the same time, not place carrots in front of your faces, making you think that you have to get this $2,000 package to be able to learn what it takes to get going. So, I'm trusting you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, type in the number 1. If anyone cannot hear me, certainly you're not going to hear me say this. Lake Worth, Florida. Wow. I'm in that area this week. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So now, Dwayne and Charles, good to have you guys here tonight, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I'm happy that we get to do this tonight, man. And I know for most people here on this webinar, this is their first time ever on one of our Monday night webinars. But I want you guys to know this is something we do pretty much every single week for free. This isn't something that we don't feel obligated to do it. We do it because we like helping people out. We've been fortunate enough, to be put in touch with the right people to finally master some different methods we're using to make money. And we take the time out at least once, sometimes even twice a week, to teach you guys what's working for us and to teach you guys what we think can help you guys get to the next level. So, I really hope you guys can take notes and get something out of this, but understand, this is the one time of the week that you guys want to make sure you're available for this call. So I want to make sure you guys know that, because a lot of people here are new.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't know that this is something we do, and you don't have to miss any of it. Charles, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. I'm glad to be here. This is a big night for us, so I'm pretty excited. Good to see everybody here.
And guess what, guys? You can actually go on a webinar when someone's not launching something.
Yeah, nothing for sale tonight.
You're right. It's every Monday night. We love to share our principles and work with you to help give you more leverage in the marketplace. So, as I say that, some of you guys are doing a couple things that someone asked, what do I mean by sharing on this platform? I just mean don't use our webinar platform if you sit back and don't do anything except gripe and complain. You could use other platforms for that, That's all I meant by that. I just don't want it to become where one person tries to steal all of the learning process from everyone else. So good.
Somebody said, so that's what Junior looks like without a hat. They didn't think I had any hair, I guess.
Wait, type it and tell everyone if they have any issue. Well, I'll tell them now. Type it in too. If anyone has any issue, they can easily just go ahead and refresh if they have any challenges. There's a lot of people here, and your reception has everything to do with your internet speed. Some of you guys are literally watching on your mobile device. Some are watching on your iPads, and some are using 3G, 4G, DSL. Everyone has a different speed. So I can only tell you to refresh. Otherwise, note, we put every one of these back into the Genius Marketing Pro, and we're loading them into Webinar Fusion Pro for our Webinar Fusion Pro users. And they're already on the channel, on our YouTube channel. So now that I said that, we really have a lot to cover tonight,
Yeah.
and I don't want to miss out on giving you guys some up close and personal things that we do and we use. There's no pie in the sky. We're not going to tell you that you have to walk on coals to be able to create wealth. We're not going to tell you that you have to jump through hoops and leave your spouse to be able to be successful, because none of those things are required, really. It gets down to some simple, basic, foundational principles. And so, a few years back, I heard Jim Rohn say this, that, people are thinking that, if you just learn the fundamentals, that you can really get something. But you know what's cool? There aren't many fundamentals to anything. Maybe 5 or 6 to do anything. And if you guys could slow down and listen tonight, what we're going to share with you, it doesn't matter if you use Aweber and prefer it. It doesn't matter if you use GoToWebinar and prefer it. It doesn't matter tonight what you're going to hear. It doesn't matter if you love lead pages, ClickFunnels. Do what you do, baby. But what all of you're going to have to do is follow along and realize it's about what you bring to the table. Then you can argue and fuss over the bells and whistles. Just so happens we like our own stuff. So that's why you get emails from our system. That's why you get you're on our webinar platform. It doesn't mean it's the only one. It's just our preference. But what tonight we're going to show you is how you can use your preference and still dig in and be successful. So Dwayne and Charles, with your permission, what I'd like to do, I think the best thing to do is to start off and begin with our presentation. Let's get everyone off to a great start here.
Let's get started.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah, we have a lot to cover. So as we do that, also, please, if you're not going to be talking about anything much, certainly, would you please use, you don't have to chat unless it's related to this. But if you're saying other things that aren't related, if you can hold back so we can not interfere with everyone else. Okay, here we go. So your screen's going to change a little bit. You're going to notice we're going to use our vMerge so that you can actually, I'm going to turn off the alert message. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in our vMerge so you can actually follow along with us in our slides. Click to enable, and there. Once you could see our screen, type in the number 1. That way I know you can. And then, of course, if you want to go to full screen, you're welcome to do that. Now, what I'm about to share with you guys, I don't want you to miss. I want you to take a look. As I see the ones coming in, I want you to take a look at where we're going to go tonight. We're going to take this thing personally to you. Then we're going to go to the tools and stuff you got to get set up. And if you look, you'll notice a few things. Number 1, that you can use internet marketing tools, and every one of us are likely to have our different preferences. We're going to be likely to use our own thing. But at the end of the day, when it gets down to your success, it's really going to get down to you. It's going to get down to what you're going to be doing with your time. And by the way, as we talk about this, guys, you don't have to tell me what you make. You don't have to tell me what kind of a marketer you are, how great you are, or how great you're not. All you got to do is let me see where the bulk of your time goes during the week. That will give us the result of what you're able to do. And so as you take a look at the first slide, you'll notice it's all about the internet marketing success and your tools. Now, we love Genius Marketing Pro. We love Webinar Fusion Pro. We love all of our stuff. But trust me, success isn't based on the tool you have. It just can make it better if you got yourself together. So as you work with what you have, you're going to make room for having the best tools. That's what we had to do. So as I move through the slides, notice the first thing you're going to have to do to get your business up and going right now is you have to get out of the way. Charles and Dwayne, you guys know it. It's the most common thing for a marketer to be the main reason that he or she is not seeing success. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons. We're going to cover some of them, but there's all kinds of reasons, from not knowing what to say no to and what to say yes to.
Yeah.
Never really getting around to getting started. 11 o'clock comes in the morning, 2 o'clock comes in the afternoon, 5 o'clock comes in the evening, and then you might start looking at putting together an email and writing into someone and telling them, I can't do anything because I don't have a list. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I know what the stories are out there. Dwayne and Charles, you know it like I do. Having a list and not having a list is not a problem. That's a symptom of a greater problem. That's a symptom of the true problem that you didn't build one. I know we'd love to have magic ones, and you're going to go out and buy a product that's going to tell you you're going to magically have a list. I know that. They pop up every day.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, when you get your magic list, the magic's not going to happen. You might have a lot of names and email addresses, but when you send an email message out, nothing happens. They don't know you. They don't respond to what you're doing. They get your swipe. They run closer to the person whose swipe you're using and not you. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to ask each of you, if we go through this, let's make some commitments together. As you're hearing this, how many of you are willing to get out of your own way? So because when we start showing you exactly what to do first with the stuff you got, it's going to be important that you're out of the way. So how many of you are going to make that commitment to get out of your own way to ensure your success, not next year, this year, before you get to Christmas, before you get to family time? How many are willing to start committing from this night forward, type in the number 3, that you are going to get out of your own way? Because certainly we're going to touch on some stuff, and we all need to do it.
And I really like your first point you have in here, you know? If you already know everything, there's no room for growth. If you're one of those people who think, oh, I understand this list building concept, I just can't get it to work for me, if you already know everything, you couldn't possibly have any room to grow. Think about me and about Dwayne Sr. and Charles. We're constantly learning new stuff. In fact, we had a call just a couple of days ago about some new thing that we learned from a podcast. So if you already think you know everything about internet marketing, you think you've bought all the products, you think you've heard everything, there's no room for growth. So that's one way you guys are going to get out of your way, is understanding that you don't know everything. So if you think you do, that's one of the big things that's keeping you back.
It'll block you. And Charles, you know, you see how excited Dwayne Jr. gets? People call me hyper, but this dude's so excited, he jumped the gun, baby. We didn't get to that slide yet, but that's what it takes. I mean, that's why he's a part of this team. If you think he's a part of this team because he's my son, you got another thought coming. We have a huge family, but there's something about action takers. And Dwayne, I appreciate what you said, and they need to know it, not just see it, but do it. If you in fact know everything, right? If you already know everything, there's no room for growth, just like he said. And you know what? What is our first few webinars made up of, guys? Charles, how many people came on to let us know how much they know? Right? They make their big statements. They didn't invite us to their webinar so we could see what they know. They want to come into our webinar and make everyone miss out what we're trying to show them. And that is not a big problem. That's a symptom. And these symptoms alone, some of you think you got autoresponder problems, or you think I just can never get that up. Who's going to help me? What do I do next? That's not really the problem. We must begin with you. As Michael Jackson said years ago, Charles, the man in the mirror, right? Look at the person in the mirror and get out of the way and get yourself settled. So number 1, you know, you can't really get it going if you, in fact, already know everything. That's number 1. Number 2, as you see the slide change, if you are not taking action, you can't really expect for your prospect to. Charles Harper, you know, you and I, we started off even before Dwayne was born. We were serving in churches where people will come out, drive from miles around to have a church meeting and argue about the color of the curtains, but when it's time to take action, they're nowhere to be found. When it's time to help someone and make a difference, you can't find them. Well, internet marketer is the same. It's the same stuff. Everyone wants to go out and write a blog post, or they want to get on a webinar platform and make comments in the chats. We want to do all kinds of stuff, but when it gets down to it, there's no email messages going out from that person. There's no list building going out. It's just like that, Charles. You remember back in the days when we got started at serving in churches? Isn't it like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's common that it takes a lot to really to actually do something. Right, and I think we all understand that because we've all been at that point. You sort of have all this stuff that you're trying to learn, but I think what you're going to learn in this call, and if you really process what Dwayne is saying, you've just got to really, and this is my thing, you got to do something consistent every day. there's got to be something there's got to be something you do tonight, right, that really makes a difference in your business. And the people that Dwayne is talking about that we used to serve together, they came and they sort of had things that they wanted, but they weren't willing to come and do anything, right? One concrete thing. So you'll hear me preach that all the time. Do one thing before you go to bed, and I think those are the kind of things you're going to make a difference in your business before you move on.
You know, that's funny. It's actually our next point in this slideshow, but what a great point that is.
Yeah, you know what, Junior, it's funny. A lot of these guys don't realize we all started, all three of us started where you are not too many years ago.
Really, not many years at all.
Not many years ago, and this is our first year in affiliate marketing. So I want you guys to really get this down to a science. Oh, I don't, like Dwayne said, I don't want to jump the gun. I get excited, so we have to share this. I want to finish the concept of this. You're emailing to people on a list, or you're posting something where there's people inside of a social network or somewhere, and if you're not committed to it, and you haven't taken action and don't take action, trust me, they're not likely to do it. If, in fact, we are trying to get you to jump on board and do something, you better know better bet your bottom dollar that we're already using it. You see, there's something about it. There's something about the power of expectation. When you expect something, it actually happens. When you don't expect it, the people you're communicating with and engaging with don't know that you don't expect it, so therefore you get little to no results. It's interestingly enough, when someone walks up to you and holds up their hand like they want a high five, they never have to open their mouth and ask you for it. They know that you expect them. If you hold your hand up and don't lower it, they will hit your hand. If they like you, if they don't like your color, they don't like your gender, they hit your hand because of the power of expectation. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just saying, just to piggyback on what you and Charles have been saying, you can't, if you're a type of person that, you know, you see, you got the, whatever you want to call it, shiny light syndrome, I forget whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a lot of noise in this industry. Everybody's going to be sending you emails. You're going to be hearing all these new strategies. You've got to know how to filter out all this content. And you can't just be taking all this stuff in and never taking action. Because like it says right there in the PowerPoint slide, that if you're not taking action on the stuff you're learning yourselves, you cannot expect people when they land on your sales page or they see your marketing video to go ahead and take action. So, you know, once you hear all this information, it's important that you don't just hear it, you know. You're just going to be spending your money if all you're doing is learning and never taking action on something. So I think that's such an important piece.
Yeah, you know what? It kind of transitions us into the next slide, which I know some of these guys are like, let's get to the autoresponders and stuff. That's part of the problem. If you're thinking that, if you're remotely trying to rush us through the part that addresses you, trust me, it doesn't matter what we teach you about using a tool, you're not going to be there. You have to, each of us has to raise our level of development so that we can allow what we learn about an autoresponder or a webinar or any of those things to take seed and grow. So let's take a look at the next slide, and I want you to follow with me and understand the concept. If you focus on what you're supposed to do, the results will take care of itself. Sadly enough, the biggest thing that people come to me about is not having a list. They will say it 1 month, and the next month, and the next one, 3 months in a row, and the problem has nothing to do with the list. It's about taking advantage and working with what little bit you have. It's a biblical principle. If you could become faithful over, you know, a few things that you have at your fingertips, you can become ruler over many. All of our lists started one person at a time. We didn't magically buy a list or grow. I mean, literally one person at a time had to opt in and or purchase. You're no different. Okay? You have 168 hours a week like the rest of us. You can do this. We're going to get to what to do and how to set that up so you can get your order, get a list. But if you don't get you out of the way first, a week will go by. You will not have missed happy hour. A week will go by. You will not have missed your favorite show. A week will go by. You will not have missed your favorite radio programs. A week will go by, and your time and mentality has been invested into everything that will not grow you a list. That's how that works. So growing a list is just one example, but the results take care of themselves. I learned this years ago that My job as a parent isn't to force my son isn't to make him become the person I want him to be. My job is to raise him as I've been charged to do. My wife and I did raise him, and allow God. It's God's responsibility for the results. The forces of nature that are here in the world, in the universe, are here. That as you move in that direction, the results have never been your responsibility. Ever. Your responsibility is to work with what you have. It's amazing to me to buy a program that if you need a list and you have an autoresponder and you have not dove in enough, whether you're Googling it, whether you're using YouTube, to find out how do I do it? Where does the answer come from? If you're waiting around for the right mentor, you're waiting around for someone to charge you $3,000, $5,000 to get it all set up for you, trust me, the results are not really going to lean in your favor. So what I'm trying to tell you tonight is I'm trying to put the jelly on the lower shelf. And yes, we're going to go over what to do so you can grow that list. But I want you to have fertile soil so you can reap what you sow. To expect a list when you've done nothing to grow one, I think it's just not reasonable. It's irresponsible. To want a list of 1,000 people and you've not set up even one system that will make it work for you, it's unreasonable. And so we have to say this, and Charles, you guys have to catch me if I sound curt. I don't want to. But what we're talking about is in everyone's hands. Everyone can do this. If you're 78 today, if you're 18 today, and you're here, you can do it, and we're here to encourage you, and we're going to get to that point so you can learn it. All right, so now, as we get to the next slide, the results can take care of themselves if you can be consistent and do what you can. But here's something I think that's really important. Don't work so hard at being a know-it-all techie, because that's not where the money comes from. Interestingly enough, Dwayne and Charles, I know a lot of great techies. They're so good at it that they help me to make money. They help you to make money. But their strength is being a techie. Some of you guys will spend more of your hours in being a technologist and knowing exactly where things come from, knowing all the definitions, and knowing exactly the root of SEO, all that stuff, and that's good, but just trust me when I tell you this. Know enough to get paid, but you want to put some time and energy where the money comes from. All right, Dwayne, I see you. You're squirming. You got it. Get it out.
I think it's funny because I think if people knew the truth, even about me personally, I almost know nothing about hosting or setting up a website. Right now I have to ask my wife or someone else just to get a domain and stuff set up properly. I literally know nothing about the technical side of things. But what I do understand is the side that has to do with making sales and building a list. And that's what I think you're saying here, Senior, is like don't get caught up in the technical stuff because there's always people there that can help you out with that. There's no point in becoming a master at, being like a programmer, if you want to be a marketer. So I would stay focused on the things that had to do with making money and not so much on, things that aren't your skill set. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I see Charles nodding his head. It's so real, and it doesn't take much to get caught up in there. But we got to keep it simple, baby. Go ahead, Charles.
I do a lot of training, and my education doesn't really mean a lot, but if you're going to try to keep up with me in terms of being able to train in technology, I have a degree, instructional technology degree. I have been to school for this, so your job is not to try to keep up with me in terms of technology. That's not your job. Your job is to take what I'm doing and use it to make money. So if you're trying to be like somebody who's had years of experience doing something, it's not going to work for you. What you've got to do is take what people are giving you and then put it in place in your business. That's really the point of learning HTML or any of that stuff. You just need to know just enough to be dangerous. So overdoing it with technology and internet marketing will kill you. And one of the things that these tools will do for you is they really make it easier once you know a few basic things. And that's what we're going to be showing you over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months, a few basic things. You put these things in place and you add in some effort you are going to see these things happen for you in your business.
Well said, Charles. You know, guys, and I know a lot. I see some of the chat messaging, and I want you guys to understand this. We're not telling you that we're not going to show you what to do to get set up. We're just trying to tell you it begins with each of us individually.
Right.
If you look back over the last week, I know that every day there's a different training going on of some type. Then we post to try to get it out there available in front of you. And so the important thing is to just literally dive in and keep it simple. So we're going to get to that, but understand if you don't address the you part, you'll be like the man who likes to take old wine, new wine and put it in old bottles. The wine is going to be kind of sour, so it's not going to have what it needs to have. And you can't take new milk and put it in an old milk jug that has old soured milk in it. It doesn't work. This is like that. You want to build your internet marketing business on a solid foundation. And that foundation should be made up of things that don't have baggage and dead weight. And the best way to get rid of it is to dress yourself before you even look at your computer. Clean you up. All of us have to do it. We have to clean ourselves up. So, that being said, don't work so hard at being a know-it-all techie, because that's not where the money's coming from. You work at it, but you don't give 99% of your time towards being the expert tech, because you're going to get hired. You're going to be a great employee for someone. That's just that way. I'm just trying to help you out. So you want to really leverage things. Let's go and take it to another level. So now, as we look at the next slide, and if you can't see the slide, don't fret it. Some of you are looking at mobile devices, and some of you are on 3 and 4G. Some are on, so it depends on what you're looking at. You might not see a slide, but you're hearing us say it. So don't fret. So what's next then? If what you're saying is true, what's next is you literally can get set up. That's the next step. You can get set up if you take care of you. Sadly enough, most people only see the glamour side of internet marketers. They don't see you, Charles and Dwayne, when everyone is out showboating. Your face is buried in 1 to 3 books, learning something new about what it takes to be great and be successful. They're not there when you're trying to provide some level of support towards someone who's having the greatest struggle of their life in trying to get started. They don't see that. And so what I want everyone to know is we have to dress us. Before we even get on our computers, we work with ourselves. And I would never ask you to do something that we don't do. I can only encourage you that is the best place you can be. Clearly, the model for the military is before you can send someone off to war, you send them to basic training and get develop themselves. College, before you send people out to their jobs, you send them through 4 years of developing themselves. Internet marketing, I know all of the stuff. Some people had a great month and they're now shown as an internet marketer. Others, it's being taught by many that all you have to do is have one good product and you're a professional internet marketer from that day forward. And you'll find that nothing can be further from the truth if you're talking about a long-term sustainable business model that works on the internet. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's get started and let's get set up. What's the first thing we got to do here? And Dwayne, I don't know if you or Charles want to lead off with this one, but this is so important. Everyone, when they think about getting started, they're thinking, okay, I got all this stuff. Where do I begin? Some of these are professional getters, and you got a lot of stuff, but you never started. And I'm going to say this. The heart of your business is the communication and engagement, and that is done through an autoresponder. So that is the first place you begin at getting set up. And Charles, I don't know if you want to touch on that. And so if you got a lot of stuff tonight, because over the last few years you bought a lot of things, there's an order for being an affiliate marketer or an internet marketer, and the order of business begins and is centralized around the ability to communicate with new customers or make sales, and that is done. It begins with your autoresponder. But Charles, anything you want to add to that, my friend?
No, I think that's where you have to start. You've got to have that set up. It's got to be ready to go before you can really start getting that person opted in. And I think what you really do have to have in mind who you're going to be selling to. And I know you're going to be getting to that. But if you're going to be marketing to other internet marketers, that's going to kind of dictate how you set up the autoresponder. So I would say, sort of know who you're going to be marketing to, and then get started into these things. So,
well said, Junior.
No, yeah, I think you guys both covered it very well. I think, if you're going to be getting into this and start taking this seriously and not just buying stuff out of, pure, I don't want to say buying momentum, and you want to actually start taking this stuff seriously, one of the first things you have to do is develop somewhat consistency in your list building. Most people give up after they don't see 1,000 emails in their list after the first week of trying. So getting this part set up is key into developing a business that will last long term.
Dwayne, man, that is a great point. I mean, we're gonna give you a lot of steps that it's all gonna work for different ones of you in different ways, and you really do have to stay at it until your list grows. So your list is not gonna grow by magic, and it's not even gonna grow because you did it like I did it. It's not gonna grow because you did it like I told you to do it. You're gonna have the basics in this, and if you decide on the market, don't leave this market to go to another one until you get this one to work right. You're going to have to stay at this until it works. So none of this is magic.
And guys, some of you guys have already started building a list and using some different strategies that you've learned over time. And what I think happens is you guys may have a list of 20, 50 to 200 people, but you don't do anything with the list that you've already created because you don't feel like it's significant enough. What I want to tell you is if you've developed a list of even 10 people, start emailing them now. Because if you're not going to take care of the 10 people you got, you can't expect to be responsible with 2,000.
Right. Yep.
Well said, man. So as we get to this, you guys can understand, we put a lot of energy in this whole thing around the autoresponder because literally the responsibility begins with getting it set up. I mean, to literally talk about I don't have a list makes no sense if you didn't even set up an autoresponder. And so someone's asked, is there a favorite? Hey, the favorite one for me is always my own things. But to be honest with you, the favorite one is the one that you set one up. You can't go wrong. If you get started with one and it's doing okay for you, you can always upgrade to a different one if you like it. But I'm telling you now, I wouldn't even wait to find out which one is best.
Just get one.
Because there's a ton of them. I gotta be honest with you, they're all great. All right. So here's what I'm gonna tell you. If you are one of these people, if you can see how a child will learn to play a musical instrument, and they sound horrible for the first 6 months or year, and they stick with it, when you have a list that has 5 people on it, and they don't get email messages from you, you don't deserve to have a list, a big one. You don't take care of the little one. So I'm going to tell you this. Don't think that you're losing because you don't have 1,000 people on a list, or 2,000. Because it's like how you manage and take care of your people. Do you understand what I'm saying to you guys? You have to take care of it and be responsible. It's amazing how many will have 30 to 50 on the list, and after 3 months of not communicating with them, wonder why they don't respond to anything. So let's get to this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, just really quick. And for some of you guys who are thinking, I don't even know what to send them, guys, email them. Give them free stuff. And you guys know, like, you can invite them to our stuff. Like, we have a free Facebook group. A lot of you guys are already in it. Say, hey, guys, I want to give you this as a free gift. Join this free Facebook group where, Dwayne and Dwayne teach these different strategies. Just be communicating with them on a consistent basis. Give them something for free. Sell stuff to them that you think will help them out. Just be in contact with them at least once a day, or at the bare minimum 5 times a week.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead because we're going to cover that. Right now, if we get them to start, because some are asking what should we send and all that. For now, the most important thing, if you don't send any messages, is get one started. Get in there, set up your profile, set up an autoresponder. And you know what that means? It usually means finding a video on the page where these people have it. Doesn't matter if it's Aweber, GetResponse. If it's ours inside of Genius Marketing Pro, it's not magic, as Charles said. So before we get into what to send and giving away free offers, some of you guys hear that all the time. You get excited about it, but because you're not even set up, you can't even do it. Sorry, Charles, I knew you were going to say something. So before I go to the next step, I wanted to get that out there.
No, I say, but when I first got started, I'm not gonna lie. I would go on a webinar. I'd listen to what they said, and I'd get right off that webinar, and I'd teach the people who were listening to me. And when I first got a list, there were like 5 or 10 people. I'd go on a webinar to learn what they were teaching. I'd get off, and I'd teach them the very same thing that I learned. So there are a lot of ways that you can really provide value to the people who are on your list. I mean, we're going to be providing you things, but definitely, you know, take what you have and then give it to them. Right, and they'll tell you what it is that they need if you're willing to ask and find out. But you've got to be willing to teach your people something that's going to be valuable to them.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get to this. Now, you guys, I'm going to say it one more time. If you really wanted to walk away with some value tonight, if you're going to talk about anything other than we're talking about in the chat area, I'm just going to tell you you're wasting your time. Your family means a lot more to you, I hope, than for you to get on a webinar where someone's trying to show you what to do and you use it for other things. It's not a customer support window. It is not a window to try to teach everyone else. You could invite people to your webinar and do that. Okay? I'm just being straight. This is valuable time that we give up, and I want you guys to know we love you. But if you want to have a webinar, go out and invite people to one and teach them. But don't use ours for that, because we're trying to get to a certain point where more people that are new can start justifying to their family why they're spending so much money to do nothing. We're trying to get people off of their blessed assurance and take action and see results. We don't want a social club, and I know that's what this kind of thing can become. We're not trying to make it a social club. We're trying to help some folks. It's holiday time. Some of you guys are alone for the first time. Your spouse is either dead and gone, or you've been divorced. Some of you guys, your children have left home, you're all alone, or maybe you're just heartbroken. It's your first holiday season by yourself. We're trying to help everyone, so please don't misuse. Not that I'm not talking to anyone specific, because I can't see the chat right now. I'm just trying to head this junk off so we can get to our point. Let's go ahead and move on. Next step. What do we do? My goodness. Set up your form. See, when you get your autoresponder set up, what I meant is go in. Set up your profile. Who in the heck are you, right? What's your return email address? Set up all that stuff so it's functional. Now, what's interesting, guys, everyone wants to say, okay, what about that form? Where can I get it? You really think, if you think the money comes from the autoresponder you're using, I can't tell you how many people there are broke that are using the best autoresponder that you think is the best.
Yeah.
Your autoresponder success has everything to do with you, the guy or gal who's emailing, your core content, and we're getting to that. So if you right now, because I said that, start chatting and trying to teach people how to do it, you missed the point.
Yep.
You cannot get caught up in that. Set up a form, if it's sexy or not. If it has bright colors and good templates, set it up. Stop getting caught up in the bells and whistles.
That's why we went over that earlier. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you put that earlier in the PowerPoint presentation, because now it's coming back. You know, showing people. I can even see it in the chat. And I'm not saying this out of anger. This is just, you know, to give you some constructive criticism and help you out. Don't focus on the things that don't necessarily have to do with the money. Don't get lost in the technical side of things. If it says set up an opt-in form, don't get focused on what it looks like or which autoresponder is better than the other one. Just get any of them set up, really. So I love that you put that in earlier. Just makes sense.
You know, it's one of those things where the race doesn't give into the swift. The guy or girl has the fanciest car and all that stuff. That's not where it goes. I mean, if you could just dig in, we're giving 168 hours a week. If you could take your percentage of that, what you can do with the worst of autoresponders and the ugliest of pages will blow your mind. Some of my friends who are 7- and 8-figure earners don't have the sexy stuff and they don't need it. What they bring to the table is themselves. When you're partying, they're working. When you're sleeping, they're working. When you're whining about what you don't have, they're working. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, is if you could plug in and don't get overexcited about tools that you're not using or won't use. Mm-hmm. Plug yourself in, set up your autoresponder. Then once you have a profile and have it set up, let's begin with an opt-in form. And yes, we're going to get to what to do with an opt-in form, but I want you to understand. The opt-in form is where people will give you, in exchange for value, their name and email address. So if you don't have a list, that's okay today, but it's not okay next week. You should already have a list with at least one person or more a week from now. Because watch where we go from here, Dwayne and Charles. This is interesting. And I'm not watching the chat because I get too irritated when I watch the chat, and I don't need to get irritated because it's going to interfere with the quality of presentation that we'll give to these guys. So now, here's where you put your autoresponder into action, folks. Take a good look at the value around you. We call that the value proposition. And then you strike with your catalyst. I'm amazed. Some of you guys here, over the last 6 months, I'm not even going to say the last year, you've purchased something where you've been given white label rights. Some of you have been given free bonuses that you could actually use and give away as free bonuses. You don't even know. If you looked at your hard drive, some of you deleted some of the stuff, some of it just sits. The way to get people to opt in isn't because you're a guru. People don't care if you're a guru. The honest God truth is 99% of you never heard of any of us before this year. That's the truth. What's interesting is, if right now, if I need money because my child needs surgery, I don't care what kind of a guru you are. But if you can give me as a free offer a training, a PDF, or that free product that's going to help me to get more money for my child, that's all I'm interested in. And I'll gladly share my name and email address in exchange. So watch the power of this. We told you, set up an autoresponder. We told you, set up an opt-in form. Don't jump the gun and start getting caught up in having the best of the best yet. Stop. Take a look around. If I look at some of your hard drives, I'm going to see free things that you've gotten and never opened. I'm going to see a free product. I'm going to see a free 2 or 3 video trainings that you've been given. I'm going to see all kinds of stuff that you could gladly give someone in exchange for their name and email address.
And
you can post it on Facebook. You can post it in social networks, and they'll give it to you. Sorry, Junior, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and for those of you guys, if you're one of the if you're like one of the 2% who doesn't have any of this stuff on your computer as of right now, it's just a Google away. For like $7, I'm sure you can get like 3 PLR products that you can give away as a free gift for somebody joining your list. Mm-hmm. You know, and since the majority of people on this webinar right now have GMP, Genius Marketing Pro, you guys can put these pages together, an entire funnel, so quickly. It's just a matter, get your gift out, you know, figure out what it is that you're going to use as your value proposition. So,
and you know what's really crazy?
Currently, look on Google. You'll find it in like less than 2 minutes.
You know, what's crazy, Charles and Junior, is one of the questions someone's asking is a very good one. What's the big deal about numbers? Because I keep hearing a lot of hoblog about numbers. And it's amazing to me. If you don't have a list that has even 100 people in it, it's amazing to me how many people write in and they say, look, there's only allowed for 2,500. When can I upgrade? Hey, take care of what you got, baby. You can upgrade at any time. The important thing is take care of your list. If you nurture your list, you can grow it and not care about the price of what it means to have 20 or 30,000 in it. It won't matter. Emailing is not for just sending offers. Right. That's about as foolish as having your wife or your girlfriend or your husband or your boyfriend only hear from you when you want something. Mm-hmm. Ladies, if your guy only hears from you when you need money or need shoes or you need him to babysit or something like that, you have very little value to bring to the table and you won't last long. Guys, if the only thing your girl hears from you is when you want to sleep with them or you want them to clean your house or wash your dishes, guess what? Your relationship's not going to have much meaning either and it won't last long. So I know what you're taught. You're taught email, sell. But you've got to learn the power of engagement because when you do that, you are now the guru. When you learn you can talk to people without wanting something in return, you can talk to them to bring value to their life. Now you're learning the true meaning behind being an internet marketer. I'm not talking about what everyone tells you to believe. I'm talking about the truth. Send an email message when clearly you're not asking them to click on a link and buy something. You'll get those from us. But you have to understand, we send email messages out every day, right? And maybe, I'd say twice occasionally in all of those email messages, 1 to 2 a day, where we're giving value. We're either giving away something free, inviting folks to come along, inviting you to a webinar like this one, and we're not selling anything tonight. We're trying to help you so that this year you can ensure that 2016 won't be like the rest that you've been dealing with. It's a sad state that the only difference is in your year is the cost of living and your address. But there's not much different in that income. And you can change that by following along with such principles. So I'm glad you guys are being so kind too. You really cut back on a lot of the excess chat. But I want you to note, you guys can do this. It's real. Set up an autoresponder. Number 2, you can set up an opt-in form. Don't get carried away. You don't have to go out and buy anything big. There's enough stuff given to you. You can even do what Charles said. You can set up your own training and record it. You can take one of our trainings. You're welcome to do that. They're already in YouTube. Download it. If we train someone something, offer them that. Right? You can take a PDF that exists. There's so many out there that are free of charge that you can use and share. If you find something on YouTube, you can inbox the person on YouTube and say, look, I love your training. Do you mind if I for free, I'm not going to sell it, if I for free share it with my subscribers? I've never turned anyone down who's offered that. There's so many creative ways to do it. And that, my friend, is if guru has any meaning at all, that's where the true value comes in living up to that level. Give an exchange to your subscribers for opting into you, so much value, it would bother them if they miss your next email. It would hurt them if they go a whole month and don't hear from you. That's what it's about. If you're following along and you really understand this, type in the number 5 so we know that you're able to hear us and you get this. So there. Now, as we move on, set up your autoresponder, get an autoresponder, get your autoresponder form set up, then assess your value proposition. If you don't have one, get one. And you can get one. I just described how to get them. And then take it and use that as your catalyst to begin to churn for you new subscribers every single week. Let's go ahead and move forward. As we go to the next slide, don't worry, we're not going to keep you all night. We love you guys, so we love our families too. We're not trying to keep you here all night. Here we go. What's next? Develop your tone and your message and lose the swipe mentality. You know, I think back, and each of you guys could think back to the days when you were single and dating. Were you more effective with your own words if you borrowed the words, or did you get more success when you borrowed the words from your friends? You know, as you think, that's rhetorical, but as you think about that, understand that the message cannot be a template message. If you want a list and you want to possess that list and have ownership over it, you should own the message. You should own the theme. You should own the tonality so that they know it's you. If you get a message from Charles Harper, you know it's from him. You'll know it wasn't an email swipe. You'll know it's from him. If you get a message from Dwayne and Dwayne, we have a sound. We have a tone. It's okay. It's your message. You can't go wrong. You can take an email swipe and edit it and make it your own. You can do that. There's so many cool things you can do. But I want to tell you something. If you're going to grow a list and keep it and have it growing for you every single week, some of you every single day, you can't do it without your message and your tonality. So that doesn't mean you can't get help, but shame on you if your subscribers don't mean any more to you than to copy someone else's words and message. The end result is they're not going to know why when they land on wherever you got the swipe from, when they land on that page, that theme and that tonality is going to be so familiar to them, they're going to want to be their subscriber and respond to them and not so much you because they never heard from you in the first place. Charles and Dwayne, let's start with you, Charles. Was that clear, or am I kind of like going a little too hype on this thing?
No, it does. I mean, you do have to develop your own talent, and you're developing a relationship, right? You're developing a relationship in writing, and so you've got to be yourself in writing. You are trying to sell. You're trying to help people. You're trying to help people in their business, or if you're in the weight loss niche, you're trying to help people lose weight. Whatever you're trying to do, but you really do have to be yourself. And I think Dwayne is absolutely right. There are no real rules per se in how you write your email. You will develop your style based on principles, but you do need to be yourself.
Yeah.
Junior.
Just my 2 cents on this. I don't know if this is what they tell you to do in college or high school, but write how you talk. So, just be you. That's a big part of it. So as you're writing these emails to people, be yourself. You know, if you're happen to be out at a cafe, just say, hey guys, wanted to shoot you this quick email as I sit here in this cafe. Something. Just be very, very personal in every single email. Don't just be like sell, 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 where people won't have any type of connection with you. So you want to share as much about you at the same time you're getting your message across. So I think that's a big part of it. So yeah, like you said, develop your tone and your own voice.
And you know what's crazy about it? If you choose to do it your own way and just sell, 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 and use other people's words, you're gonna become background noise, and no one's gonna open your messages. It's very important to do. You already have a tone. It's not like you have to create one. You already sound the way you do to your children and to your spouse, to your friends. Use that same tone, and don't get caught up in becoming a grammar expert. It's the message. It's when your child says, "I want you, Daddy," that you don't care that he didn't use the right grammar and he didn't say it right. It's just something about it. You don't care anymore. Your subscribers deserve that undivided message, attention in the messages you give them, so that they too can have a great response to you even when you make a spelling mistake, like we do. We make them all the time. Okay.
And Dwayne, can I say something here? You know, you don't have to have, and when you do what Dwayne Jr., what Dwayne is talking about is you don't have to have as big a list as everybody else has, because you're going to have more people opening your emails. And so, you know, when you hear about numbers, what you want to have is high number of people opening your email and reading it. That's really what's most important. Yes, that comes along with having a big list, but you really do have to get this right. You've got to start really converting the people that you have. And that really goes back to what we said at the beginning. You learn how to deal with the 5, the 10, the 50, the 500, and that's where you really get that, and you start honing in what that message is so that people are opening your emails because it's you.
Well said. You know, one of the things that we have to pivot to now, we're already in the full hour, but I need you guys to understand this. We spend so much time on the autoresponder because that is where the money comes from. It doesn't come from having the sexiest page or the best page system. It's amazing to me how many people make decisions based on what everyone says is the best. The money doesn't come from there. The money comes from what you bring to it. So as I say that, if you're new here, maybe you're not sure, what can I give away free? I've never done any of this stuff before and I'm new. If you have Webinar Fusion Pro, we have enough already done trainings on YouTube or somewhere that you're welcome to use anything we've ever done. Give it to someone for free if it teaches them something. Break it down and edit it, but don't do anything that would be misrepresent us, right? You're not going to do any vulgarity, right? Nothing else, no nudity, nothing weird. But you're welcome to use anything we provide. If you have Genius Marketing Pro, we've got a lot of training. We have a system. We have pages that we've done. We share with you. We have trainings back there. You can easily go out to YouTube, download it, and tell someone you're going to teach them how to use an autoresponder. It doesn't matter. Grab something. Stay tuned for many more email messages that we're going to be sending because we love to send out the value. I wouldn't even mind if you guys invited someone to be a part of our Facebook group. To use it as value. Tell someone if they will to opt into your forum, and they could be invited to be a part of a private Facebook group. Charles, Dwayne, and I don't care. Use what you have. That was the whole point of the other slide where we told you to assess your value to the marketplace and then give it back. So now, as you guys, we move forward, what next and how do we get there? And I'm glad you brought that up. All right, sorry guys, I get really crazy as you know. You're ready now. If you can set up your autoresponder, set up your opt-in form, build your value proposition, and of course, develop your tonality in your message. Once you've done that, you're ready to take on all kinds of other tools because now you got the core part of your business set up. Without the communication, there's no money. But if you got the communication down and set up, you can go out and get that. You want the fancy, sexy page system? Go get it. You want the new Guru Camp where you walk on coals? Go get it. You got something to work with. It begins with you, and it's not about money in the beginning. It really isn't about having a bag full of tricks. It's about you applying and plugging in what little you have. And trust me, as I say it, we make software. We'll be the first to tell you we want you to be successful. If you never use our software, plug in the principles we're telling you. Use them in the one you have. Use any one you want. Okay, trust me. We're not. Yeah, I can't say it enough. In this new culture that we're trying to make sure it can exist in the internet marketing realm, it's more important that you just work with what you got. And certainly, we'd love it if you use our products. Of course, we're partial to them. We think that they're the best, but we're supposed to, right? And what you can do then is you can plug in for your online or offline clients, and it won't matter. Go get that fancy webinar system. Go get that fancy new membership suite or site. Do whatever you want. But if you guys keep doing all that and you don't set your stuff up, you are literally spitting in the wind. Can't say that any clearer. And I don't want you to do that. Now, if you tonight understand that we do actually care about you guys, if you do understand that, I may sound curt at times when I try to get you to calm yourself so you can really get some value. If you understand that we really are serious about your success, type in number 1 if you get that. And if you don't understand, that's cool. But for those that do, it certainly justifies taking the time out to spend with you so you can get that. It's time that the world knows you can have a webinar without someone selling you something. You can have a webinar to support what you've already purchased. You can have a webinar to help those who have no one to tell them, who have no one to guide, cannot afford a mentor or a master teacher. It doesn't matter. You can take and use your leverage to bring great value. That is where the list building begins and carries you through to the end. Charles, I'm sure there's many things that I've missed, but maybe there's some things we need to touch on that where we've just kind of jumped through and missed it all.
I think you've hit on it. This is the place to start. You've got to. I'd say that right up there, right next to making sales, is really getting people onto your email marketing list. There's no other way to say it.
And there's no sales without it, unless you got what we call luck sales, and they come about once a quarter. That's not going to help anybody. So you guys get it. Certainly, Charles, just so you guys know how committed we are. I know that Charles was supposed to leave yesterday, headed to see family for the holidays, but refused to abandon our platform of being able to help and teach other people who don't have a chance to go anywhere this year. I, too, was supposed to leave this morning for the United States, and I'm not leaving until tomorrow morning. I bumped it. We've been doing this. We started this call. We really mean business. We're every single week we're here to do what we can for you. Dwayne Jr., I know that you guys should have been on the road, and you're very kind not to be yet. Ain't that cool? It's important to help people. Anything you think we may have missed that we need to leave with them as a gesture of love for them during this holiday season?
Well, one thing. It's going to be quick because Monday Night Football is going to start soon. I know I want to watch this game. But before I even know, I seriously, on a very serious note, right? It's very easy to get excited after hearing a webinar like this or buying a new product. But once the excitement wears off, you've got to have the discipline and the consistency to do these like certain habits every single day. So if that's emailing for you, if you're not in the habit of emailing every day, you've got to get into that habit starting now, even when it's not exciting and fun and you're not filled with all this excitable type energy because you got off a webinar. You got to do it when it's inconvenient. You know, we got to be able to develop this as a habit. You know, so if you can do that and do it when it's not so fun, and not only after you just got so hyped after going to some event and you just heard Jim Rohn speak or whoever it is that you're into, be consistent in what you're doing, man. Excuse me, and you'd be amazed at what can happen.
Yeah, you guys heard it here, and yes, we do recognize you guys have your families, you've got children. You got to understand, we come from real world too, and some of you're struggling, and we know it. You have a family member who may be behind bars, or some who may be sick and in the hospital, rehabilitation. We know all kinds of backgrounds are here tonight. That is why we try to cut it short and not allow a whole lot of distraction. So please understand, I'm not apologizing, but I need you to understand our style is because we want to reach everyone, not just the few that get it right away. And as I say that, if this has been helpful and valuable for you, please type in the letter V, and we'll know it as we say goodnight to you and wish you and your families all the best this holiday season as you certainly get a chance to begin to practice and plug in exactly what you've been learning. It's easy tonight as you think about it. You don't have to go out and buy a new autoresponder system. Take the one you already have. Don't get caught up in which one's the best. Just Google autoresponder. First one that pops up, go get it. I mean, it sounds irresponsible, but not nearly as irresponsible of waiting around till someone lands you whatever they think is the best. Just get moving.
And if you have Genius Marketing Pro and you're asking about where to find an autoresponder,
Yeah.
you should log into your account and you'll find that you already have one. Hello.
Yeah. You guys, all the best to you. We'll see you next Monday night as we really try to assist you in leveraging what you're doing on the internet to have great success for you and your families as you pioneer as an internet marketer in the 21st century. This is Dwayne Golden Sr., Dwayne Golden Jr., and Charles Harper. You guys have a great night. Take care.